The sun had barely risen over Olumo village when Mama Sod opened the wooden door of her small house. The morning was peaceful. Birds sang from the trees, women swept the sandy paths, and farmers prepared for the day. Smoke from cooking fires rose gently into the golden sky. From outside, Olumo looked peaceful as ever. But inside Mama Soda's house, everything was different. Oluremi sat quietly on a woven mat, both hands resting on her growing stomach. She looked tired and afraid. "How long can we continue like this?" she asked. Mama Sod sat beside her and held her hand. "We will find a way," she said. "But what will happen when people see me?" Mama Sod had no answer. That afternoon, Kunle secretly came through the back path. He looked around carefully before entering the house. Oluremi smiled sadly when she saw him. "People are beginning to ask questions," Kunle said. "Who?" "The elders. Even the village chief is suspicious." Oluremi looked down at her stomach. "What are we going to do?" Kunle held her hand. "I don't know." For the first time, neither of them knew how to protect their secret. As the days passed, Oluremi's absence became impossible to ignore. At the marketplace, women whispered about her. "Have you heard from Oluremi?" "I heard she traveled." "Then why has she stayed away so long?" The question spread throughout the village. Among those who noticed was Akin, a young trader from a neighboring village. One evening, he saw Kunle walking toward the forest. Akin quietly followed him. Kunle reached Mama Soda's house and looked around before entering. Akin hid behind a large tree. Why is Kunle coming here secretly? He wondered. He watched the house carefully. Something was being hidden there. The next morning, the village chief summoned Kunle. "How is your wife?" he asked. "She is well, sir." "Then why has she stayed away so long?" Kunle nervously repeated the story that Oluremi was caring for a sick relative named Momoyotond. The chief listened carefully. "Where does this relative live?" Kunle answered. The chief nodded slowly. "You may go." But as Kunle walked away, the chief continued watching him. He knew something was wrong. That evening, Kunle returned to Mama Soda's house. "People are asking too many questions," Mama Sod warned. "You must stop coming here so often. Someone may follow you." "But I cannot leave Oluremi alone," Kunle replied. Mama Sod looked at Oluremi. "We need another plan." That night, the three of them sat quietly around an oil lamp. "Maybe we should leave the village," Oluremi suggested. "Where will we go?" Kunle asked. Nobody had an answer. They knew that wherever they went, questions about the baby would eventually follow them. They were trapped. Weeks passed. Oluremi's stomach continued to grow, and Mama Sod rarely allowed her outside. One afternoon, an elderly woman came to visit. She stood at the doorway and looked suspiciously inside. "Are you alone?" she asked. Mama Sod forced a smile. "Of course." The woman stared at her for a moment before leaving. Mama Sod quickly closed the door. Inside, Oluremi held her breath. That had been too close. Several days later, dark clouds gathered over Olumo. Strong winds shook the palm trees, and thunder rolled across the hills. Inside Mama Soda's house, Oluremi sat beside the window with both hands over her stomach. "Please," she whispered, "let my child be safe." Suddenly, a branch snapped outside. Kunle stood. "Did you hear that?" Footsteps approached the house. Then came a knock. 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 Mama said, a man's voice called. It was one of the village elders. Mama Sod picked up the oil lamp and slowly moved toward the door. Then Oluremi suddenly held her stomach. Mama. Mama Sod turned. What is it? Oluremi breathed heavily. I think the baby. Another loud knock shook the door. Knock. 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 The elder called again. Mama Sod, who is inside your house? Mama Sod froze. Connor looked toward the door. Oluremi struggled to remain calm. Outside, hidden behind a large tree, Akin watched the house. His suspicion had now become certainty. He knew something important was being hidden inside. The storm grew louder. The oil lamp flickered. And inside Mama Soda's house, everyone waited in fear. The secret they had protected for so long was finally about to be revealed. What would happen when the door opened? Please like, follow and comment for more episodes.